Title, Chapter 1, The Scamstress in White. By the time Ina walked into the Apple store with a bouquet of red ribbons and 20 iPhones in her designer bag, she had already shattered 20 hearts, and wasn't done yet. Let's get one thing straight. Ina didn't believe in love. Not after what life had done to her. Not after working 3 years in a gray office cubicle earning just enough to survive in a city that punished the weak. But she did believe in strategy. And timing. And playing the game better than anyone else. She had one mission. Get the down payment for her dream apartment in less than 3 months. No loans. No parents. No miracles. Just hustle. So she designed the ultimate con. One iPhone. One man. One date. Repeat times 20. Sell them all. Fund the mortgage. Exit. What could go wrong? Plenty. But that's what made the story unforgettable. Ina had never considered herself particularly beautiful. Sharp, yes. Calculated, absolutely. But beauty? That was just perception. And perception could be designed. With a straight back and a skin-tight white dress, she became what the world wanted to see, purity and desire blended into one contradiction. But behind her smoky eyeliner and flawless posture lived a mind that worked like code. And on her MacBook, color-coded in pastel tones, sat the document that started it all. Mortgage plan, Phase 1, Harvest. Name, age, profession, iPhone, gifted status notes. Daniel M. 28 real estate, white, heavy, checkmark, iPhone 14, active, emotional, calls daily. Victor L. 35 crypto trader, white, heavy, checkmark, iPhone 15, ghosted, arrogant, but useful. Leo S. 31 startup founder, white, heavy, checkmark, iPhone 13, active, falling in love, danger. 20 targets. Each one handpicked. Each one carefully seduced. All of them told the same story. My old phone broke, but I'd never ask you unless I really needed it. Men don't always fall for beauty. But they always fall for need. Ina didn't just date them. She mirrored them. For Daniel, she was the damsel. For Victor, the femme fatale. For Leo, the manic pixie dream girl with a traumatic past. It wasn't love. It was theater. And she was winning standing ovations. Chapter 3, iPhone season begins. The first time was the hardest. Ina sat across from Daniel at an upscale lounge in downtown Kiev. He wore too much cologne, and his confidence oozed like overboiled pasta. But he was rich, and insecure. The perfect combination. Why don't you have the new iPhone? He asked, sipping on overpriced wine. Broke mine in the gym, she replied, faking embarrassment with a soft smile. But I'm saving up. Priorities, right? Hook. Line. Sinker. By the end of the night, she walked out with a brand new iPhone 14 Pro Max and a kiss on the cheek. He thought it was a date. She thought it was a transaction. Ina didn't sell the phone immediately. No. She kept it on her table for 24 hours, just to admire the precision of her plan beginning to work. Then came the second phone. Then the third. She learned the timing, never ask too early. Build up the guilt. The desire. The illusion of intimacy. Make him feel like a knight, not a wallet. By iPhone number 7, Ina felt the rush of a trader in a bull market. She was closing deals. Fast. Her flat smelled of roses, espresso, and iPhone boxes. Each man had a ringtone. Each one believed he was the only one. You're different, one said. I know, she whispered. They didn't know they were inventory. Assets in her debt-free real estate plan. And yet, among them, one name glowed red in her spreadsheet. Leo S. The startup founder. The only one she almost liked. The only one she shouldn't. But every scheme has its weakness. And Ina's was coming faster than she expected. Leo's wasn't like the others. He didn't ask Ina what perfume she wore, or how many siblings she had, or whether she believed in astrology. He asked her, "What are you most afraid of?" And for a split second, she almost said it. "Falling for someone while I'm playing them." But she didn't. Instead, she smiled that perfect, rehearsed smile and said, "Losing momentum." Leo tilted his head, studying her like a puzzle he was halfway through solving. "You move like someone who's running from something. But smiling like you've already won." God. He was dangerous. Ina had dated CEOs, crypto bros, musicians with fragile egos and bold tattoos. None of them ever made her feel seen. They liked how she looked, how she laughed, how she moaned when the wine was expensive. But Leo? He was silent. Observant. And he watched her like he was tracing her shadow, not her skin. Ina didn't need an iPhone from him. He offered it without her asking. "You said your phone broke, right? Let me fix that. I want to." No performance. No seduction required. Just quiet generosity. And that scared her more than any confrontation. She didn't want him on her spreadsheet anymore. Because he wasn't just another asset. He was a threat. Not to the plan. To her ability to stay detached. That night, back in her apartment, surrounded by boxes, invoices, and SIM card wrappers, she opened the spreadsheet and deleted row number 9. Leo's, removed. Her plan didn't need honesty. It needed distance. Control. And feelings were expensive liabilities. She would cut him off before it was too late. But fate doesn't honor spreadsheets. And Leo? Leo wasn't done with her yet. Chapter 6, The Office Knows. On Monday morning, Ina walked into the office in a beige trench coat and matte red lipstick, elegant, untouchable. Just the way she liked it. But the moment she stepped into the elevator, she knew. The silence was wrong. 2 junior assistants who normally chirped hi, Ina, just stared. The guy from IT suddenly minimized a Reddit tab. Her boss, who never looked up from his screen, made eye contact. Too long. "Hey, quick question." Her colleague Marta whispered as they passed each other at the coffee machine. "How many iPhones do you actually own?" Ina froze. "Excuse me?" "Never mind," Marta smirked, biting her tongue like she was holding back a scream. "Just be careful who you date." The door to HR was cracked open. Too quiet. Someone had sent the Reddit thread to the company Slack. Ina's name. Her blurred-out photo. Even the part where someone called her Kiev's Queen of Eye Scam. By noon, her inbox was full of urgent meeting invites. She canceled them all. Control the story before the story controls you. Ina rushed to the bathroom, locked the door, sat on the toilet, and opened her backup phone. The burner. She posted a selfie to her private Instagram. Clean, powerful, and unapologetic. Caption. Be the plot twist. Always. Then she called her phone buyer. The trusted one. "How many iPhones can you flip in 24 hours? "All of them." "Something wrong?" "No. Everything's going exactly as planned." A lie. But a good one. Chapter 7, The Podcast Offer. At 2:12 a.m., Ina's burner phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't pick up. But instinct said, "This one matters." "Ina," the voice said. Calm. Confident. Female. "You don't know me, but I know your face. And your story." "Who is this?" "My name is Mira." I run viral code. We do podcasts. Unfiltered ones. I want to feature you. Ina laughed. Feature me? As what? The villain or the genius? Neither. I want to hear your version before the world decides who you are. For a moment, Ina stared at her wall, cluttered with post-its, boxes, lipstick tubes, and screen protectors. And what's in it for me? We pay. We protect identity if needed. But more than that, we give the spotlight. And you, Ina, you're already in it. Might as well take the mic. She didn't say yes. She didn't say no. But the next morning, her face was on TikTok. Again. Clipped from a security camera. Leaving the Apple Store with iPhone number 18. Caption. She's not stealing, she's investing in herself. The comments split the internet. Queen. Absolute queen. Manipulator. Feminist icon. Sociopath. Smartest woman in Ukraine. I gave her my iPhone and I'd do it again. Ina closed the app. Breathe. Think. Adapt. If I'm already the villain, I might as well write the script myself. She texted Mira one word. Let's talk. Chapter 8, The Podcast Bombshell. The podcast studio looked sterile and expensive, just like Mira promised. White walls, soft lighting, 2 microphones. And 1 glass of untouched water. Ina sat across from Mira, perfectly posed. She wore all black, like a villain in mourning. Her hair pulled back, her eyes glowing. This isn't about the phones, Ina said, before the cameras even rolled. It's about the fact that I played their own game. And they're furious I played it better. Mira smiled. Start from the beginning. Ina told it all. The strategy. The plan. The 20 men. But she didn't sound proud or apologetic. She sounded like a CEO in a war room. She spoke of exhaustion from fake smiles. Fake promises whispered over wine. Years of being used in reverse, dates that led nowhere, gifts with strings, men who saw her as decoration. So, I flipped the dynamic. I didn't steal. I orchestrated. They volunteered. The episode dropped at midnight. By morning, it hit 1.2 million views. Comments exploded. She's an icon. This is what feminism looks like. Still theft, babe. Let her sell a course already. I'd still date her. Dead serious. But not everyone clapped. At 9:14 a.m., Ina's burner phone buzzed. A new message. No name. No number. Just. Let's see how loud you talk when it's your turn to beg. She stared. Was it Daniel? Victor? Someone new? She had power. But she had made enemies. Real ones. Chapter 9, The Man in the Parking Garage. Ina always used the underground parking beneath the luxury mall when she met buyers. It was well lit. Cameras everywhere. Exit routes in all directions. Safe. Until tonight. She arrived at 8:03 p.m. Black hoodie. No makeup. Disposable bag with iPhone number 19. Buyer's name, Dima. Usual contact. Reliable. Never once late. Except tonight, he was already waiting. In a car she didn't recognize. She approached. Slowly. You're early, she said. The driver's window rolled down. It wasn't Dima. It was a different man, older. Bald. No expression. Get in, he said. Her heart slammed in her chest. Who the hell are you? He reached out, not with a gun, but with a photo. A printed screenshot. It was her spreadsheet. The damn spreadsheet. With names. Statuses. Notes. "You think we don't talk to each other?" he said. "You think we wouldn't compare stories when we all realized we bought the same phone?" He wasn't shouting. He was calm. Too calm. "You stole nothing. But you took everything." She stepped back. 2 more men appeared from behind the next pillar. No masks. Just quiet rage. "We want our money. One way or another." Ina did the only thing she could. She ran. Through the lot, past the guards, out into the night. She didn't scream. She didn't call the police. She ran like someone whose empire had just been cracked open. Her face was on every screen. But now it was also on someone's list. Chapter 10, Off the Grid. Ina vanished. No Instagram stories. No burner phone signals. No shared locations. Even Mira, who now had podcast merch with Ina's quotes, couldn't reach her. Because Ina wasn't in Kiev anymore. She was 87 kilometers away in a rundown Airbnb in the woods, living under the name Irina Makarenko. Cash only. No Wi-Fi. Phone wrapped in foil. Her eyes were tired, but sharp. She spent her nights watching squirrels eat garbage and her mornings reading books she didn't understand. She didn't care. She needed to think. To breathe. But even silence wasn't silent. Every time she looked in the cracked mirror above the sink, she saw Daniel's face, twisted with betrayal. The man from the parking garage, holding her spreadsheet. Leo. Soft eyes. Soft voice. A threat she could have loved. One night, as rain clawed at the window and the wind howled like karma, she whispered aloud. "I was supposed to win." The next morning, she woke up to a knock. Chapter 11, Leo's Offer. Ina didn't scream. She opened the door slowly, heart pounding. And there he was. Leo. Not angry. Not smug. Just standing there with 2 coffees and a quiet smile. "You look like you haven't slept in a decade. I thought you deleted me." "I tried." They sat in silence at the chipped wooden table while wine slammed against the walls. "I'm not here to lecture you," Leo said. "I'm here because I have an offer." Ina raised a brow. "Oh? Another iPhone?" He smirked. "No. Something real. I sold my startup. For more than I thought I ever would. I know what you did. And I don't care." She stared. Waiting for the catch. "I want to hire you." "Excuse me?" "I've watched what you did. You ran a multi-phase social engineering op on 20 men with 0 funding and no staff. That's not dating. That's leadership. That's brand. That's control. And risk," she added. "Exactly. The kind I respect." He slid a paper across the table. $100,000 retainer. Come work with me. Run operations. Strategize. Legitimately. No games. No lies. Just firepower. She stared at the number. 6 zeros. Silence. "And if I say no?" "Then I'll wish you luck and hope they don't find you first." It wasn't a threat. It was the truth. And Ina knew something now. This wasn't about iPhones anymore. It was about evolution. Chapter 12, From Scamstress to Strategist. 3 weeks later, Ina stood in a high-rise overlooking central Warsaw. Tailored pantsuit. Hair in a smooth bun. Nude heels. No more burner phones. No more alleyway iPhone deals. She was now head of strategic risk at Titan 11, a rebranded venture capital fund that Leo had just launched after cashing out of his startup. Her weapon? Everything she learned conning men one phone at a time. She didn't pitch stocks. She profiled people. She saw through billion-dollar founders in 10 minutes. Which were insecure? Which would snap under pressure? Which would say yes when they meant save me? Ina could smell fear like perfume. And she used it like currency. By day, she sat at tables with investors twice her age. By night, she studied algorithms, fraud patterns, and dark psychology textbooks. "You're not acting like someone hiding," Leo said one evening, watching her flip through a dossier of investor behavior patterns. "That's because I'm not hiding anymore," she said. "I'm watching." Still, some habits stayed. She never used the same taxi service twice. She always kept a fake passport in her second drawer. She never saved anyone's number as their real name. Just in case. Chapter 13, Return of the Ghost. Success has a smell. And sharks smell it first. By the end of Q2, Ina was already a whispered legend in the Warsaw business scene. The Ukrainian strategist with a hacker's brain and a seductress's eyes. The girl who made $17,000 off iPhones and turned it into a career. People didn't know the full truth. They didn't need to. But one person did. One night, Ina came home to her apartment, minimalist, cold, full of glass and metal. There, on the kitchen island, was a box. Unmarked. No return address. No courier receipt. Inside. An iPhone 14 Pro. A handwritten note on heavy black paper. It read, #21, I never forgot. And I never forgave. She froze. It wasn't Daniel. He didn't have the style. It wasn't Leo. Too dramatic. It wasn't a stranger. It was someone who had played the long game. Someone still watching. She turned the phone over. It had no SIM. No lock screen. Just a timer. Set to 7 days. Tick. 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 Ina closed the box. No fear. Just clarity. Looks like the past wants a rematch. Chapter 14, The Countdown. Day 7. The timer on the mystery iPhone hit midnight at 3:16 a.m. Nothing exploded. No alarms. No messages. Just silence. Then, at 3:17 a.m., a file appeared on the screen. File name, Asset 21. MP4 inch. Ina tapped play. It was grainy security footage, timestamped 3 months ago. A hotel lobby in Kiev. She was there in heels and red lipstick, laughing into the shoulder of a man in a navy coat. Man number 21. She knew who he was. He wasn't on her spreadsheet. Because he was never meant to be a target. He had approached her at a wine tasting, said he was just in town from Geneva. Smart. Polished. Deep pockets. But he never gave her an iPhone. Instead, he gave her a challenge. He said, "You've got the eyes of a chess player. But the world's playing poker." She didn't sleep with him. Didn't scam him. Didn't realize he was scamming her. Because now he had the footage. And 11 minutes later, a second file hit her inbox. "Let's talk, before I decide who gets to buy your past." Signed, J.A. Location, Zurich. Chapter 15, Zurich Games. Ina had always avoided Switzerland. Too clean. Too controlled. Too slow. But now she sat in a penthouse cafe above Bahnhofstrasse, sipping black coffee and watching men in suits argue over lunch meetings. Then came him. Tall. Gray suit. No tie. The kind of man who smelled like rare paper and soft leather. James Antonoff. Investment analyst. Hacker. Collector of leverage. Still playing games? He asked as he sat down. Or have you upgraded to empires? Ina didn't blink. Still building. You? Still buying. He smiled. And you, my dear, are for sale. He slid a folder across the table. Inside. Screenshots. Messages. Names of men. Locations. Buyer lists. Myra's podcast contract. Even Leo's investment documents. You've got too many footprints, Ina. And I own the path. Her spine chilled. What do you want? Control. Partnership. I'm launching a platform, Vanta Risk, digital threat profiling. I want you as the face. You'll be paid. Protected. Feared. And if I refuse? He sipped his coffee. Then I sell this folder to 3 outlets and 1 prosecutor. Game over. Ina leaned back, eyes locked on him like crosshairs. I don't join empires I didn't help build. Then let's build one, he whispered. But this time, together. Chapter 16, Terms and Conditions. Ina didn't answer James immediately. She took the folder, walked out, and disappeared into Zurich's wet alleyways. She needed time. She needed a plan. She needed to know who leaked. Because James Antonoff didn't guess about Leo's files or Myra's contract. Someone had fed him. And the only people who knew those things were the ones she trusted. That night, Ina sat in her hotel in a robe, facing the window, lights off, mind racing. She opened a new file. Typed 3 names. Myra. Too eager. Too media hungry. Might have cashed in the story. Leo. Too idealistic. But, what if she had underestimated him? Man number 13, Victor L., crypto trader. Disappeared early. But cocky. Dangerous. She needed intel. So she called an old contact in Warsaw. Dark web tracker. Hacker. She owed him 3 favors. I need IP traces on file leaks. 2 targets. Fast. You running again? He asked. No. I'm hunting this time. Chapter 17, The Traitor. 2 days later, the hacker delivered. It wasn't Myra. It wasn't Victor. It was Leo. Ina stared at the email header. Leo. S at Titan 11. Com. Forwarded the folder to James Antonoff at Vanta. I.O. Subject line, in case she gets stupid. Date, 2 days before he made the job offer. Her breath left her like a slap. He knew from the beginning. The soft-spoken startup romantic. The man who brought her coffee in the woods. The one who said, I don't care what you did. He didn't care. Because he planned to use it. Her past wasn't a secret to him, it was leverage. The job? The high rise? The money? It wasn't redemption. It was containment. Ina didn't cry. Didn't throw things. She wrote 1 line in her journal. Never let the man who claims to save you hold the keys to your cage. Then she picked up her burner. Texted James. You get your empire. I get my name back. I'm in. But on my terms. He replied in under 30 seconds. Welcome to Vanta. Ina smiled. Leo had underestimated one thing. She always chose survival over sentiment. Chapter 18, Vanta Ascending. 3 weeks after joining Vanta Risk, Ina had already restructured their threat profiling system. Instead of boring analytics, she introduced human pattern mapping. Emotional leakage in emails. Ego triggers on calls. Behavior under staged pressure. The boardroom didn't blink. Because results don't care how pretty your methods are, only that they work. By month's end, 2 major corporate scammers were exposed. 3 dirty board members were forced to resign. Vanta's stock tripled. Ina became the face of fear. She gave TED-style talks in black silk, whispering lines like, "The person who seems perfect is either lying or playing you." But even as investors cheered, she was designing something else. Operation Broken Mirror. Her own internal project. Hidden behind a dummy shell company inside Vanta. Its sole purpose? Bury Leo. Publicly. Legally. Permanently. She'd trusted him. He'd played her. Now, she'd end him. Chapter 19, The Trapdoor Deal. To destroy Leo, Ina didn't attack him directly. She hijacked his next funding round. Leo had just launched Titan 11's Series B $60 million from a group of European angels. One of them? A shell fund, owned by Ina. Under the name Elara Black. She infiltrated his due diligence. Saw how shaky his books were. And leaked that data, anonymously, to 3 financial watchdogs. Then came the trapdoor. Ina arranged a meeting. Neutral space. Private airport lounge in Milan. Glass walls. No echo. Leo walked in, all smiles and fake warmth. "I thought you disappeared." "I did," she said. "But I left you something." She slid a folder across the table. Inside. Timeline of his funds manipulation. Whistleblower complaints. Signed witness statements. Threats he'd sent to her from a dummy account. His face changed color. "What do you want?" She leaned forward. "Nothing. I already took it." "You wouldn't." "Leo, you trained me too well." She stood, heels silent on marble. "Next time you build a cage for someone like me, remember who forges the keys." And she walked away. Behind her, the silence shattered like glass. Chapter 20, The One She Forgot. The package arrived in Berlin. No label. No name. Inside. A photo of Ina in university. A cheap necklace she hadn't seen in 6 years. A note. "You broke the wrong one. You owe me a name. Or a debt." Her hands went cold. Not from fear. From recognition. Yaroslav. Not an ex. Not a boyfriend. Just collateral damage in one of her earliest grifts. He was 23. She was 20. She never slept with him. Just borrowed his credit card for a weekend emergency. She never returned it. And his family had nearly lost their house. He'd messaged her for months after that. Then disappeared. Apparently not far. That night, her dark web contact pinged her. "There's chatter on closed Eastern European forums. Someone's buying up old debts and names tied to your aliases. The buyer's ID matches a YS Hritsenko. That name ring any bells?" Oh, it did. "He's not a threat," Ina told herself. "He's a memory." But memories don't send necklaces soaked in cologne you wore 6 years ago. And memories don't start posting photos of your family on the darknet. Yaroslav wasn't after money. He was after character assassination. Chapter 21, The Bloody Warning. 2 nights later, Ina received an alert. Not from her security system. From a private encrypted blog. One she'd set up years ago under a false name, used to track former clients. One post. No text. Just a photo. Of Mira. Face bruised. Eyes bloodshot. Tied to a chair. A phone taped to her chest. Caption. Her turn to bleed. Then yours. There was no signature. But the rage was familiar. Yaroslav didn't want to expose her. He wanted to break her systematically. Her reputation. Her connections. Her enablers. One by one. Ina dropped everything and flew to Warsaw that same night. She found Mira in a hospital. Stable. Silent. Face half-stitched. Why didn't you tell me someone was watching you? Ina whispered. Mira smiled bitterly. Because I thought it was you. Later, back in the hotel, Ina stood by the window, phone shaking in her hand. The city buzzed. The world spun. But her war had just turned personal again. She pulled up an old contact list. One name glowed red. Artur M., fixer. Ex-spy. Debt cleaner. She hadn't called him in 4 years. She texted him 2 words. I need him gone. The reply came in seconds. Location? She sent 1 word. Odessa. Chapter 22, The Odessa Arrangement. The fixer arrived wearing no expression and a jacket too old for his clean shoes. Artur M. had once burned files for ministers and buried names in borders. He didn't believe in karma. Only payment and precision. Ina met him in a hotel elevator. No small talk. She handed him a sealed envelope. Yaroslav's last known location, a shipping yard on the Black Sea. A burner number. 12,000 euros in unmarked notes. A clause, no fatalities. But he remembers it forever. Artur read it. Nodded once. Pain is easier than death, he said. Ina didn't flinch. Make him understand. The message came 3 days later. A photo. Yaroslav on the ground. One arm twisted unnaturally. A black rose placed over his mouth. The caption. Debt cleared. For now. But Ina didn't feel relief. Because 5 minutes after she saw the image, her mother called. Sweetheart, someone just mailed a photo of me. It's from your graduation. And there was a red X across my face. The line went quiet. Ina's world cracked open again. Yaroslav had expected retaliation. He wanted it. And he didn't care about bones. He cared about emotional annihilation. Now it wasn't about past scams. It was a game of escalation. And she just pulled the trigger first. Chapter 23, Firewall. Ina shut it all down. Banta servers purged. Her face scrubbed from all sites. Mira flown to Portugal under an alias. Her mother moved into a secure flat in Krakow. She called in debts. Burned old alliances. Paid off silence like it was stock. Then, she went digital. Chapter 24, The Confession Campaign. Ina knew the world feared mystery more than monsters. As long as she was a whisper, the myth could grow. So she did the unthinkable. She came forward. Not with excuses. Not with tears. With strategy. She launched a campaign across media and social platforms titled, I Did It. Here's why. It wasn't just a confession. It was a manifesto. She broke down each scam. The psychology behind the seductions. How systemic male entitlement enabled her. How her actions were criminal but predictable. She didn't justify. She owned. The world cracked. Some screamed for her arrest. Others called her a prophet. Women wrote. She said what we never could. She played the game they made. She gave TEDx talks. Debated philosophers. Even got invited to speak at Davos under ethics of digital deception. But Yaroslav? He didn't disappear. He upped the ante. Chapter 25, The Last Tape. One morning, Ina received a USB drive in a red envelope. No return address. No stamp. Just the word. Final. She played it alone in a soundproof room. It was a video. Yaroslav, sitting calmly in front of a wall covered in photos, her photos. Hi, Ina. He looked peaceful. More dangerous than rage. You took years from me. Credit scores. Sanity. My father's dignity. I forgave you for most of it. He leaned forward. But then you made me invisible. You went viral. You became a brand. And I became a footnote. So now. He slid a photo into view. Her mother. In the Krakow flat. Cooking. You get one last choice. Disappear completely, no more podcasts, no more fame, no more threats, or she does. The screen went black. Ina sat frozen. Not in fear. In fury. Yaroslav didn't want money. Or even revenge. He wanted to erase her, the way she once erased him. And the worst part? He might succeed. Chapter 26, The Shadow Archive. Ina didn't cry. She calculated. If Yaroslav's goal was erasure, her answer wouldn't be retreat. It would be immortality. She sent a signal to a silent partner she hadn't spoken to since her Kiev days. Codename, Nox, an archivist who lived in the darkest corners of the net. In one night, Ina uploaded all her scams. The leaked footage. The entire Vanta risk systems architecture. Messages between her and Leo, James, Mira, all of it. She created a mirror site called INNA, uncoded. Encrypted. Viral ready. Set to detonate globally if anything happened to her, or her mother. It was her shadow archive. Her firewall against extinction. And then, she made a video. Simple background. Plain shirt. No branding. No charm. If you're seeing this, something's happened to me. But I will never be erased again. It spread like gasoline. BuzzFeed. Al Jazeera. BBC. Vice. Suddenly, every man who had once called her crazy looked small. Yaroslav? Silent. But silence is sometimes just the inhale before the stab. Chapter 27, The Unseen Betrayer. 2 days later, while walking through a quiet square in Lisbon with her mother, Ina felt it. A sharp, sudden shift in the air. She turned, and saw Leo. Not angry. Not apologetic. Terrified. We need to talk. Now. They slipped into a cafe. Private booth. Dim light. You don't understand, he whispered. It wasn't Yaroslav who found your mom. What? It was James. No. James wouldn't. He did. He always planned to flip on you once the attention cooled. He wants the archive. You're a liability. Ina's blood ran cold. Leo slid over a phone. Audio files. Recorded meetings. James ordering surveillance. James negotiating with Eastern European blackmailers. He'd used Yaroslav as a decoy. You were never the endgame, Ina. You were a feature. A phase. Now he's deleting you from the code. Her mind raced. Why are you helping me? Because I did love you once. And I'm tired of losing to men who think you're an equation. Ina stood. Eyes wild. Rage surgical. Then let's end it. Together. Leo nodded. One shot. One plan. No second chance. They didn't know it then. But someone was already watching them from across the cafe. Recording every word. Chapter 28, The Burn Plan. They had one night. One plan. Objective. Expose James publicly. Destroy his digital empire. Release Ina, uncoded to every major institution and media outlet in the world. Toolset. Leo's access to Titan 11's hidden server backups. Ina's dark archive. One stolen key from Mira, hidden since before the hospital attack. They met in an abandoned observatory outside Lisbon. Only 2 laptops. One goal. Are you ready to vanish? Leo asked. I'm ready to exist, she said. At exactly 2 a.m., they launched it. 134 gigabytes of raw data. Financial fraud trails. Secret conversations. Proof of James' involvement with Yaroslav's threats. Abuse of investors, journalists, hackers. It wasn't just a leak. It was a purge. By sunrise, the media was on fire. Data Queen turns hacker avenger. Exposing the billionaire manipulator behind Vanta. Her past was a scam, her future might save us all. James Antonoff vanished from his own offices. Interpol opened an investigation. Shareholders dumped stock. His face vanished from every page but one. Ina's. And just as she was about to shut it all down, delete everything. One message arrived. From an unknown sender. Too late. Cameras saw everything. Lisbon Cafe. You and Leo. Enjoy your fame. Or your prison. A photo. Of them. Together. Talking. Conspiring. A new threat had just been born. Chapter 29, Exit or Exile. Ina stared at the screen. We had a tale, she whispered. Leo's face turned pale. Who the hell is still watching? She didn't know. It didn't matter. She had 2 options. Go fully public. Own everything. Risk arrest. Rewrite her legacy. Disappear again. For good. No name. No leverage. No spotlight. She turned to Leo. What are you doing? I'll disappear if you do. Why? Because if you go down alone, it proves they were right about you. That night, Ina sent one final video to Mira, encrypted. If this gets out, it wasn't me. If they come for you, go dark. Thank you for being the one who saw me as more than a brand. Then she and Leo got on a private jet. No flight log. No destination listed. Just coordinates. Somewhere in South America. Epilogue, version unknown. Years later, a leaked post appeared on an anonymous blog. A photo of a woman in sunglasses walking through a rural market. Black shawl. Bare face. Holding a child's hand. Caption. She's alive. And she's not hiding. She just changed the game. No name. No confirmation. But the internet exploded. The world whispered again. Is it her? Did she fake her own exile? Is this the final con? Or did she finally find peace? Only one comment stood out. Left by a user called IN21. You never beat the system. You just become too powerful for it to contain you. Collision. The end.